huddling up as we take a look at their starting lineup. And it begins in the sticks. Kosti Christodoulou, the junior from South Africa. He'll be starting in net tonight for the Big Green. In front of him, Alexi Uno, Vasilis Miras, Douglas Varhar, Andrew Ellis, Trenton Blake, Oscar Magnuson, Sebastian Magnon, Tom Collins, Sam Fenton, and Ore Main rounding out the starting unit for head coach Bo Oshani, now in his 6th season at the helm of the Big Green.
And there were the Bears starting 11. Hudson Blattis, the senior, who again was featured at the top of our broadcast, has played some great soccer, was Defensive Player of the Week after saving a PK against Penn, and the rest of the Bears.
Yeah, in front of him, it'll be Tanner Berry, Taha Kina, Gustafson not in the starting lineup tonight, Lorenzo Amaral, Charlie Adams, Langdon Griglis, Jack Cloherty, Kojo Dadzi, Levi Pilar, and Harry Sprofera. All for head coach Chase Wildman now in his 2nd season at the helm of the Bears trying to stay unbeaten in Ivy League play. However, just the one win to go along with those 4 draws.
Well, the Bears and the Big Green are really, there's Chase Wildman, and we talked to him earlier this week about the magnitude of this match. And, you know, something that he has talked about with us all season long really is about Brown staying composed, mature, poised, and just to, in specifically about Dartmouth, being able to counter some players who, in his words, play very direct.
Yeah, said, you know, we have to deal with their quick, direct play. They got to find times to get on the ball, get possession, kind of control the tempo of the game, and most importantly, it sounds obvious, but find a way to score a goal, Mike. 3 games now without a goal for the Bears, all 0-0 draws. They want to break that streak today, and you look at this formation. The Bears starting with 4 players out wide to try to send it down that left side. Actually, that was Dartmouth trying to employ that strategy there. The Bears, of course, in the home whites with those brown numerals. Dartmouth with the road black and green bumblebee striping today.
And, Mike, this is a playoff game. I mean, I think as you start getting to this stage of the season, especially with the prospect of a postseason, ordinarily, you know, in most Ivy League seasons, you'd be looking at this and saying, you know what, you know, if you don't get a win and you have a 1 win and 4 ties, the likelihood of being able to play beyond your final year of the final week of the season would be slim to none. It's not so this year with the postseason in the Ivy League.
Yeah, every other year it would have been the season finale. Neither one of these teams would have had a shot at the national tournament without the Ivy League tournament. But now with that kind of a little jewel out in front that they can try and steal that bid, we'll see what happens.
Ball popped around. Mitchell turned in front, awayed by Tanner Berry. It comes to the top of the 18, loading up and shooting over the top was Oscar Magnuson, the sophomore from Iceland. Had a good look there and got it to his left foot. And again, the Bears got to do a better job if they're going to clear. They can't give Dartmouth chances from that tight.
Yeah, too much space there for the All-Ivy honorable mention from a season ago. He's Dartmouth's top returning scorer. Had a goal and 5 assists last year, a year in which Dartmouth went 6-7-3, 3-4 in league play, but cannot afford to give him those type of opportunities around that top of the 18.
4 of the Bears' last 5 games have been played away from Stevenson-Pinsent's Field. 4 of the last 5 games have ended in 0-0 draws, and I think it was the great Johan Cruyff, arguably one of the greatest players the world has ever seen, who said, "You're not going to win very much if you don't score." And you don't have to be a great soccer player to know that that's the case, Mike.
Yeah, and again, that goes back to what Coach Wildman was talking to us about. You know, you can talk all the strategy you want, but at the end of the day, you got to put balls in the back of the net. And, you know, it's something that's been a little bit of a struggle. And as he said, you know, there's been a lot of what-ifs, a lot of close calls for Brown, but knows that they do have the potential to get one on the board here tonight.
Again, if, you know, not for a missed PK from the Penn Quakers, the Bears wouldn't be even in the situation they're in right now, or a saved PK by Hudson Blattis, depending on your perspective. On the other side of it, you know, the Bears hit a post against Harvard and Cornell in both of those games.
Well, and Princeton, too.
And Princeton, too, yeah. The Bears are inches away from being, you know, really a potentially 4-0, 5-0 team in the conference.
Yeah, and, you know, that's just how close this game can be sometimes. And, you know, the Bears have, certainly, I think, turned the page from last year where they really struggled in league play, 0-4-3, and have really become a hard out for any team. Teams have not really been able to put the Bears away in league play.
Pilar setting it ahead, settled in the midfield by Dartmouth's Ellis. He gets fouled by Pilar.
Yeah, Pilar just absolutely steamrolling Andrew Ellis right there, and one of the easier calls the official will have to make today.
Yeah, that's sometimes a little bit of Pilar's style. He lowers the boom as makes his presence felt here on Senior Day. For Dartmouth on the other end, been a while since they've won a game. Last time they won a game was back on September 30th against Penn when they won 2-0. Since then, 0-4-1.
Yeah, but despite all that, they're tied with the Bears in Ivy League play.
Sure.
7 points each, as Dartmouth has 2 victories in league play to go along with the 2 losses and 1 draw. But this is all still in front of these two teams. They both still have control of their own destiny in terms of earning a spot in that Ivy League tournament.
Yeah, Dartmouth will play Harvard next week. The Brown Bears another collision.
Yeah, oh boy, yeah.
Barry and Tom Collins getting into it.
Barry gave him a little shove that sent him into some of his teammates along the bench there, and Collins not too thrilled with that.
Well, this stage of the season, men's soccer can be a little spicy. We saw that earlier today. You and I were tuned into the Seton Hall Providence game, Tempers May Flare, and you wonder a little bit about how the mental condition of this one will evolve. Game time temperatures were in the 70s. It's unusually warm for this time of the year. Blattis to the right side. Grayson Mitchell leads it ahead. A little touch through the midfield by Langdon Griglis, was trying to set it to Adams. Big Green back on the ball. They attack left to right, do the Big Green in the black and green jerseys. And the ball set back as we're about 5 minutes gone. Dartmouth resetting. They punched the ball upfield. Setting up under it was Harry Spafera, and flicked down to Pilar in the midfield. He collided with Adams, as it were, and swings it out to the left. Dadsey, Adams, and now has Griglis at center. Gives it to him. The 1-2 tried to force it through, but Alexis Uno, the first year from Paris, did a good job of stopping the ball and now running him down. Clarity runs down. I think it might have been Magnuson. It was, and it'll be a foul in the midfield and a stern talking to for Clarity.
Yeah, you got to wonder if the next foul or hard foul is going to draw a yellow from the official tonight. So far, he's trying to just talk it out with the players and try to get them to settle down just a little bit, but there have definitely been a couple of hard fouls, a couple of little extra shoves, as Coach Bo Oshani wants a little explanation, or at least have his voice heard with the fourth official, the most thankless job there in soccer.
This is the same fourth official we had for the women's game earlier today, and he didn't hear too much during that game, so I think he'll get his money's worth here in this one. As Grayson Mitchell heads that one out of bounds, we'll have a corner kick, first of the day for Dartmouth.
Yeah, Grayson Mitchell, a guy that Coach Wildman talked to us about, saying, he's been able to take been a man on a mission this fall and has really almost forced Coach Wildman. He's been that determined and working that hard in practice and training and has earned himself that spot.
Into the midst of Blattis.
Made it a little bit more interesting than it needed to be by having that little bounce with a couple of big green attackers in front, but in the end, the short hands of Blattis able to hold on to that.
Blattis from Keena. Headed down in the midfield. Griglis ahead for Pilar, and that's a 2-point takedown in the middle for Alexis Uno.
Yeah, that's just one of those return fouls from maybe some of that contact from earlier, as Uno, the Frenchman, just kind of a little shove into the back of Pilar. But, of course, this presents a good opportunity for the Bears to get dangerous on the restart.
We'll see where they go with it. Likely back to Keena. And that's what they do. Nice step by Griglis. Touches back, and that's out of bounds. Was looking for Tanner Barry, and It was out of bounds before Barry could make contact.
Yeah, we could see the spin on that ball from up here in the press box and just couldn't keep it in on that sideline.
Again, this is the last match of the day. Everybody else has already played and either won or lost their game, which has given some separation in the standings.
Yeah. Harvard knocking off Princeton 2-1, Penn over Columbia 1-0, and Yale over Cornell 2-0.
Turned by Douglas Arvahar on the near side. The Swede lost the handle. Throw in for Barry. After a little bit of spiciness in the first couple of minutes, a little bit more deliberate pace here as Adams flashes out to Amaral on the right side. He's picked up by Sam Fenton. Continuing the run was Grayson Mitchell. Amaral hot footing towards center. Takes a shot! And Chris Tadulu had to make a save as it actually deflected off a defender and made things slightly more difficult on the 6'3 goaltender, 6'2 goaltender out of South Africa.
Yeah, that wound up being a very nice save for Chris Tadulu. Again, Amaral unleashing the shot with the left foot. Got the deflection off the defender. That had to make Chris Tadulu adjust his initial motion. And credit him, that's a fine save there to keep this one scoreless. 10th minute of play.
Clordy takes the corner. Up goes Spafera, and Christodoulou comes down with the ball. And he flubbed the kick. Now, it almost looked like Christodoulou was out of the box when he punted it.
The other thing is the Bears are running upfield. It's not like they cut in front of him. Well, maybe we'll get another look at that.
Yeah, he's charging.
G is just kind of like trying to get out of the way.
Kojo's
he
trying
just flubbed it, and you're right. He did basically step out of the box.
Yeah,
there.
holding the ball. I don't know why that's...
I would say that's a lucky break there for Christodoulou and the Big Green. We've seen players... Whoa.
How many more yards is Christodoulou going to be allowed to take?
If that's where the foul was, he was definitely out of the box with the ball in his hand. So, and that's still aggressively out of the area by a good 6 or 7 feet. But, yeah, I'd say Dartmouth quite fortunate there in that situation as Dadzi was actually trying to get out of the way, and it was Christodoulou that played it into him.
Clordy out ahead. Pilar comes to the left side. Chasing is Ellis and will bang it back upfield. It looked like coming from an offside position was Miras. Played back to center. Top of the box. Trying to get dangerous there is Arvahar. And turned Miras up top. Dances near the 18. Drop pass comes to the right side for Ellis. And turned all the way back. Looks like Keno. Ball took a tricky bounce on him. Miras into the box and fires it over the net.
Not missing by much, though. Trying to tag that upper 90 on the near side. Gladys would have been dead to rights there, but Miras just couldn't spin it on frame completely. But dangerous opportunity that just kind of developed out of nowhere.
Yeah, a couple of tough breaks there for Keno. The initial ball that kind of bounced over his head. It had some tough English coming off the turf. And
we talked about Miras at the beginning, right? He's an explosive guy. He could turn the game in a moment. That was his moment right there in the first half so far. I mean, that was the best chance for Dartmouth that they've been able to put together, as that was just their second shot of the night. But that certainly did not miss by much.
Up goes Pilar and Griglis. Checking back to the ball came Amaral. There was a foul called on Dartmouth, as I actually think Griglis got undercut. Bears resetting with Kena and Spafera. Out ahead, Adams, Mitchell, and working one-on-one against Trenton Blake and Pilar. An easy offside call.
Yeah, we're literally right in front of the assistant referee. Again, a good idea there by the Bears, trying to play the space towards the corner, but the timing just a tad off that time.
Pretty good turnout from the alumni contingency. You can see him seated down a little bit to our left. Some players who are back. It was Alumni Day as Christodoulou puts it upfield. Amaral has it turned out of bounds off Sam Fenton, and it'll be a Brown throw-in. Again, you'd have to go back a few weeks for the last time the Bears scored, as they've been playing in a whole bunch of 0-0 draws of late. They drew even against Penn, URI, and Princeton, as well as the road game at Harvard. The only result with some scoring in that mix was the 2-1 win up at UMass Lowell, in which Charlie Adams had a couple of shots, a couple of goals rather.
Yeah, the goals have certainly been hard to come by for Brown this season. 15 on the year to this point, giving up 16. But, of course, a lot of those goals that they gave up came early on in the year.
Yeah, 10 of Brown's 15 goals that they scored against the combination of the UMass, the Columbia, and the Stonehill games. So, again, there have been some games where it's been maybe a little bit more feast than famine for Brown's attack, as a foul was called.
But you almost get the feeling that if they could just get that one,
yes,
the floodgates could open. That would just unlock the potential of this Brown offense.
Christodoulou will take the restart, wearing all blue. That ball sent through. Keena tracking back. And kept alive by Mitchell. Good hustle play. And that one did sail out of bounds for a Dartmouth throw-in. Big Green will take it. On the left side, our far wing.
Sam Fenton, another one of those Ivy League honorable mention selections from a season ago at that left back position.
Tracked back by Uno. Goes all the way back to Christodoulou. Sends it upfield. Trying to hit Arbahar, but Keena there. Dadsey, bottom of the kickoff circle, turns and will take his space right to left. Out to the flank for Amaral. Amaral picked up by Fenton. Drops back, and Clority will reset all the way back to Spafera. Some pressure coming from Arbahar and Miras, as Griglis distributes to Clority. Clority out ahead for Barry on the left side. Picking him up was Tom Collins, back for Clority, who crosses the field again, going all the way to Mitchell on the right. Mitchell finds Amaral. Amaral will take his space. Gets to the top of the 18. We've seen this before. Drops it for Clority. Clority out to Tanner Barry, left side. Gets a touch. Got fouled. Play on called. Adams still has it. Releases back to Clority. Clority looking left. Tough touch for Dadsey, and Dartmouth will return. Out to Keena in the midfield. Taha settles and turns it over. Miras sweeps in. Swings it out to the left. Attacking comes Trenton Blake. Got past Grayson Mitchell. Enters the box. Centering pass. Knocked away Keena. On the ball again is Miras on the left side. Works a one-on-one against Griglis. Tries to get it across to the right. Collins tracking it down at the end line. Denies it from becoming a goal kick. Served back in by Dartmouth, and Griglis heads it away. Clority gets underneath. Adams tries to knock it, and it'll be set out of bounds by Orrit Main for a Brown throw-in in the end.
Yeah,
dangerous sequence, though, for the Big Green.
Yeah, that's some of that speed and paciness that Coach Wildman was talking to us about when it comes to this Dartmouth team. And they like to play that direct, high-energy, high-pace style. Of course, a lot of international flavor to this Dartmouth team as well. Perhaps the most international of all the Ivy League teams this season.
I think that's a fair statement, at least of the ones we've seen for sure. But having watched most of the season, Miras, nice cut back. Clority follows him, drops it back. Main comes to the right side for Ellis. Ellis looks to serve. Blattis has to make a play on it.
Yeah, another one of those. Is it going to be a shot? Is it going to be a cross? Kind of spun back more towards the net, but Blattis able to adjust on the fly and make a comfortable save in the end.
Bears haven't really tested Christodoulou. Bladis has been under a little bit of duress a couple of times. Sends that ball upfield, though, over the head of Kojo Dadzi. Ellis out to midfield. Griglis trying to get it to Adams. Collision with Collins. And it's set upfield. They're going to get a foul, I think, on the Bears. Clority and Dadzi both kind of wondering against whom it was called. But the native of Wellington, England, drew the call.
Yeah, definitely a lot of head shaking by the players wearing white jerseys after that call. The shots on goal in favor of the Bears, 2-1. Of course, Christodoulou made that fantastic save on the deflected shot that was taken by Amaral.
Shoulder to shoulder, Keena goes up. Second ball, Clority. Third ball, Clority. He ends up on his backside, but Griglis has the ball. They want to get it to Amaral. He has another gear, shifts into it, and gets the ball on the right flank. Has Pilar making a run and Mitchell behind him on the overlap. Doesn't give it to Mitchell and decides to cut back as the defense did a good job of closing for Dartmouth. Mitchell will touch and Griglis will reset all the way back again for Harry Spofera and now Keena. Barry left side. Barry ahead for Pilar, looking to turn on Uno. Centers, Clority, Griglis, and now Dadzi. Tough first touch from Dadzi. Ball released to Clority, steps over the ball, dances back to his left. Ahead for Barry, Dadzi again. Turned back Clority, unable to beat him one-on-one. Ellis did a good job holding his line. Over to Mitchell, has some space. Adams lining up, top of the 18, sets it back in front, headed out, and met by Collins, who sends the ball away. Miras, and the ball gets to Magnuson the hard way, as Dartmouth counters. Misses Miras, and Spofera will clean it up for Brown. Right side square for Mitchell, and we're about 20 minutes gone here in a scoreless first half. Trying to flick it through was Pilar. Back is Ellis for Dartmouth, about 25 yards from his net. Out ahead, Keena will turn it to the near side, and Barry will track back. So 20 minutes gone here, Mike. A shot here, a shot there, but nothing that's really made your jaw drop quite yet.
Well, I think the importance of this game, like both teams trying just not to make that critical mistake, especially early on. I'm sure we'll see this one continue to open up. As an unfortunate handball that time, the ball popping up on Levi Pilar. Yeah, definitely still the feeling out process though early on, Mike, is again, they just have to be so sound defensively.
And Dartmouth started their year 2-0 in the Ivy League with wins at Princeton and at home against Penn. And then have since then tied Columbia and lost to Yale and Cornell. Have the Bears tonight. Will close out their season next weekend against Harvard, a Saturday game that'll be a 12 o'clock kickoff from Burnham Field. And I'd imagine it's going to be chillier up in Hanover the first weekend in November than it is here right now.
Yeah, I think it's going to be cooler just across the board.
Dartmouth taking its time and setting up this restart. It's set upfield by Magnon, who's one of their backs. The ball bouncing around, tipped off of Clority, and Mitchell sends it away. It'll be Arvar checking in for the throw, and now he's going to drop it down for Fenton. Outside of Collins and Maine, this is a pretty young Dartmouth team. They're the only two seniors in the lineup for Coach Ashani. As one turned back, and Keena gets rid of it. Used his left to lift it out to Uno in midfield. Ellis, the right side. Touch from Collins, and off Dadzi. Another Dartmouth throw. Ball thrown in, Keena to head to it. Magnuson, and now again lifted out by Clority, Uno, and Pilar. And let's say Pilar taken down from behind. Uno does not like the call.
Yeah, but again, Uno's got his hands all over his back. You can see his jersey kind of being lifted up as well. And that's going to continue to draw the whistle from the official. I mean, he's been pretty consistent with that call so far tonight. Uno's just going to have to adjust his game a little bit when trying to defend that post-up move from Pilar.
And they match up well size-wise, Pilar and Uno. Uno's a big fella at 6'2". Pilar, probably the Bears' tallest target up top, as that one beyond the reach of Tanner Barry. It'll be a Dartmouth throw, as Browns really struggled to connect sequences of passes here in the first half of the first half. And we'll reset it for you here from Stevenson-Pinson's Field and the CLS, the Center for Lacrosse and Soccer. Brown and Dartmouth scoreless. For Mike Mancuso, my name is Mike Rubin. Thanks for making us a part of this home finale for the Brown Bears. Unless, again, some real craziness happens these last couple of weeks, the Bears could realistically still have a chance at hosting the Ivy League tournament, because at this juncture they are still unbeaten at one win and a bunch of draws in conference play.
Yeah, certainly well within the mathematical permutations of the league standings, but they're going to have to win this game, and they're going to have to beat Yale on the road next weekend to even be in any kind of consideration for that to happen.
Pilar looking to turn. Switches out to Amaral on the right. Mitchell again making the run. They connect this time. Mitchell with space. Delivers it across. Had Dadsey. And they had Christodoulou moving. A corner kick coming for Brown.
Yeah, in the end, a touch from Andrew Ellis there to knock it out of the way. And in this position not to knock it towards his own net, but does concede the corner kick. It'll be the second corner of the night for the Bears. First one from the far side. Amaral will head over to take it. A lefty in-swinger. And the Bears will load up the 6 and try to get some pressure in on Christodoulou. Bears just got to be careful about picking up a foul as they jostle for position.
They were looking for Keena, never made it to him. Adams settles, gets through, has some space, drives a shot! Christodoulou the save and the rebound! Cleaned out by Sam Fenton.
That's twice tonight now. Christodoulou's been called upon to make a game-changing type of save. There's another one. Good look here, and really well shot by Charlie Adams. Kind of bounced well for him, and Christodoulou helped out by one of his teammates there. I believe it was Blank who had the final touch away as the Bears come up with a timely intervention from Keena.
Getting around Ellis was Dadsey. Chopped down, Barry to center. Stepping up, Griglis gets it back on the return from Adams and turned away by Uno as the Bears being dangerous.
Well, the most sustained pressure of the night so far for Brown, creating chances in the 18, getting some of their danger players like Dadsey involved is going to be critical.
Dadsey cutting across from the left side, and he is chopped down, got the ball.
Did he?
Said the referee.
The ball came out, but boy, did he get a whole lot of Dadsey.
And that'll be a foul on Clority, and I think he's going to get booked. And the referee not hearing Miras at all.
And that's really got to be frustrating for Clority and the Brown Bears.
Dadsey saying to the referee, hey, you know, down there.
Yeah, he got wiped out. I mean, that certainly seemed like a foul.
Well, here's the Clority. It's a foul.
I mean, that's
for sure.
a foul, but in my opinion, not a booking. But I think the referee just trying to settle things down with that card, but obviously that puts the Bears at a disadvantage. Clority's third yellow card of the season. Coach Wildman wants an explanation, or at least having a spirited conversation with the fourth official. Unfortunately for him, not much he could do. And there was a challenge where Dadsey got leveled by Uno, who's, picked up, 3 or 4 fouls already?
Oh, yeah.
So, quickly changes things if they blow that one dead in front of the Dartmouth box. Instead, it goes quickly the other way, and the Bears wind up picking up a card. As first change of the night coming in, Christian Fed, the junior from Norway.
Off goes Oscar Magnusson. A Norwegian for an Icelander. The ball sent up by Bladis. Fed, and now Blattis to the right side. Mitchell sends the ball upfield. Pilar trying to set under it, gives himself a header, and they're going to get him for a foul. The referee seemed kind of out of position on that one, too. About 20 yards, 30 yards away when he made the call, which I think was Pilar's descent.
I think the important thing right now for the Bears, they got to keep their heads stay level-headed out there and try not to let some of these calls that, honestly could go either way.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when they feel like they're going against you a lot, that's when you have to really bear down and focus.
Under 18 to play here in the first half. Blattis will roll it into Tanner Barry. He'll cut back, sends the ball upfield. Again, hands all over.
And that's got to be a card. I mean, that's like the fourth time that Uno's done that. He's getting the demonstrative cut it out. However, that
and Uno giving it back to the official, saying, hey, taking a lot of license as a first year.
He really is.
He really is. Official gave him a whole lot of business. And now the official backing off Trenton Blake as Grayson Mitchell stands over the ball. There's the Dartmouth coaching staff. Mitchell sends that ball in. Dadsey gets ahead to it. Pilar and Clority collided, and it's going to be a goal kick.
Really nice taken free kick, though, by Grayson Mitchell. Put it into a great spot for Kojo Dadsey. As Dartmouth making yet another change. In comes Phineas Callahan.
Yeah, Vasilis Miras off. Third time's the charm on that one. Miras, some good minutes, but threatened a couple of times.
And you often see some forwards rotated out after about 30 minutes in the first half. I'm sure we'll see him quite a bit in the second frame.
Christodoulou releases. The goal kick is up. Fresh legs there from Trenton Blake, it seemed, as he hot-footed after Tanner Barry, and that's out of bounds.
He's shown some great speed already throughout this half.
100%.
A lot of times down that left wing side, this time cutting across towards the right side, but he could perhaps be the fastest guy out there, the freshman from Tallahassee, Florida.
Long throw set up here for Dartmouth as makes its way toward the 6. Bafera. Dadsey hit it the wrong way, and that's going to be a direct kick coming in as Clority was climbing the ladder.
And he's got to be careful. I mean, he's on a yellow and just got way too aggressive there.
And that was the right call. I mean, he was all over the back
of foul.
Yep, you'll get a look here as he goes up and is all over the back of Christian Fed. So Dartmouth will have a mark here at a very, very good angle. Very tight in on the top of the 18. Carlo Brown and Kyle G getting ready to check in for the Bears as the clock continues to wind down here in the first half. As it looks like Collins and Fed stand over the ball, and a 5-man wall tightening up for the Bears.
Yeah, I think if I'm Dartmouth, I like the lefty taking this one. Trying to curl it around the wall. But we'll see. Will it be Fed? Will it be Collins?
Wall tight. Looks like it's going to be Fed. Wall holds. Wall holds a second time. And the ball off Amaral. Here's Keena, heads it down. Griglis tries to release and just says, get this out of here.
Yeah, can't mess around anymore. Knock it out of play. Now another throw up coming for Andrew Ellis, who he could chuck it pretty far.
Yeah, he got it to about the corner of the 6 the last time. And same with that one. Bears might have gotten away with a hand, according to Dartmouth at least, as Pilar and now trying to run through it is Adams. Push to the left side, Fenton trying to load up. Another shot blocked by Brown as Spafero holds his line.
Yeah, Blake's been pretty dangerous in the last couple of minutes. He's got a pretty good left foot there, trying to release that shot, but Bears defense holding firm.
Another throw in for Dartmouth. Up went Spafera. Amaral trying to track it down. Turnover on that far corner. And centered off Amaral. Stepping through came Clority, and he got the ball.
Oh, boy. I mean,
that's a pretty hard tackle there from
and that's
Andrew
another
Ellis.
hard challenge against Amaral. These have been some very dangerous, semi-reckless challenges from the Big Green. Now, that is a perfectly
timed one. Yeah, for sure.
Well done by Orrit Main.
And they say it turned off of Adams and will be a Dartmouth throw, as Maine did a good job of disrupting Brown's counterattack. The throw in on that far side. Maine deflected off of, again, Clority.
Bears getting ready to make a couple of changes. Kyle G. and also Carlo Brown already at the table, and Jamin Gogo Peters getting close to checking in as well for the Bears.
Collins in the midfield, lifts it to the left side. Blake marked by Clority and forced out of bounds. Another throw in coming for Dartmouth. He's had the run of play for the last few minutes since the Bears had a flurry.
James Wilson getting ready for Dartmouth at the next opportunity.
Levi Pilar. Amaral gets around Maine, takes his space, switches fields. Dadsey pulls back. Good let for Barry. Barry into the box. Centers it just ahead of Charlie Adams. He connects with Adams. Adams is dead on. Unfortunately, it was a little too far in front.
Good interplay, though, between Dadsey and Barry. Tanner Barry making that run down the left side. And now comes the triple change for Brown. So G, Brown, and Gogo Peters in for Dadsey, Amaral, and Pilar. And here's another look. Bears just didn't have that runner on the far side getting there in time.
Douglas Arbahar out for Dartmouth, replaced by James Wilson, the sophomore from Toronto. In the final 11 minutes here of this first half. No score as Krista Dulu, who's made a couple of stops, sends it upfield. Griglis, Adams, G, and now Carlo Brown trying to turn. Uno will go all the way back to his goaltender. Lifted upfield. Keena climbing the ladder, was fed. Dartmouth setting it for Wilson right side. Picked up by Barry, gets toward the end line, and that's going to be a throw-in deep in the corner for the Big Green.
But with Andrew Ellis almost as good as a corner, he can hit that 6-yard box from the sideline in this area. He has already done so on multiple occasions tonight.
Kyle G waited on the ball and got fouled.
Bears will go with a quick restart. Have some space on the far side for Adams.
They get it to him. Adams keeps it moving, and Uno sets it out of bounds. G. And now drops it back. Griglis for Spafera. Dartmouth putting a little more pressure on those Brown center backs. Kyle G lost his footing. Dartmouth in transition. They'll lead it left side. Spafera hot footing after Trenton Blake. Blake puts it across, and no harm there for the Bears, who now with inside 9 minutes. You know, the Bears still unbeaten in Ivy play despite all the draws. Earlier today, the Brown women concluding their second 7-0 season in 3 years, and after finishing last year 5 5-0-1 in the odd 6-game season. They never played their final game against Yale, but outside of UCLA and Western Michigan, Brown the only other institution, Mike, that features teams that have not lost a conference game.
Yeah, one of those strange things. And Blattis is going to have to retake this kick because he had it just about 6 inches outside of the 6-yard box. And that's one of those silly things where it's just put it on the line. Everybody's trying to get that little advantage, an inch or two here, but
on a
some
goal
of these
kick?
goal kicks, you got to just keep it in the box.
Coach Ashani seems like a stickler, doesn't he?
It was the AR, though.
Yeah,
he had the flag up before he even I could see it from here.
Yeah,
it was a good,
we both could, yeah,
almost
for sure.
foot out of the box. And it's like, that's going to come back.
I bring it up just because he has been engaging the fourth official.
Well, you have to. That's just part of the head coach's job. Keep that conversation going. You don't want that fourth official getting bored over there.
This is true. Man all over.
The stories they must get to tell after games.
Carlo Brown setting it for Adams. Works to the left side for Go-Go Peters. Jamin rolling the ball left side. Steps back. Has some space. Cuts back again. Near side of the box. And he was... Oh, the referee says goal kick.
No,
he's calling a penalty shot.
Penalty, yeah.
He is calling the penalty shot.
Yeah, it all finally caught up with Alexi Uno.
Yeah, I was waiting for the indication. I thought he was pointing goal kick. He isn't. He is calling penalty shot.
Right to the spot.
You know what? The Brown bench reacted too like he had called it a goal kick. That's why I looked down. Watch what happens. Go-Go Peters splits 2 defenders and, oh yeah, that's a foul.
That's a penalty all day long. Oh no for Uno.
Yeah, and Wilson knew it. You could see by the reaction Wilson had that he knew this was going to be a penalty kick, and it's going to be an opportunity for the Bears. And
Charlie Adams
and
holding the ball right now is.
Well, Tom Collins is.
He's stalling for time. Let's try to ice.
Yeah.
Adams, but Adams an opportunity here. Big moment.
Here on senior day for Adams. Last time we saw a PK in this goal, it was Korzanowski being stopped by Blattis. 7:01 left, clock stopped first half. Charlie Adams stands over the ball, and it's saved! Christodoulou comes up with a huge stop for Dartmouth.
Just excellent goalkeeping there by Christodoulou. He's come up with a whole bunch of nice saves here in the first half, and it was hit hard by Adams, but unfortunately, the same side that Christodoulou went.
So the Bears' scoreless drought continues on a great save by that man, Christodoulou. Yeah, just a great reflex save.
Yeah, hit hard, but not far enough away, not high enough.
Trenton Blake will check off. Checking on Ben Jenkins, the junior from Newburyport, Mass. Played his secondary soccer at St. Paul's, right down the road from Dartmouth. I guess right down 89. Nothing's really right down the road from from Dartmouth.
Except those cops. They're just right down the road all the time.
This is true. That's one of my favorite trips to take, honestly, as the ball comes to Blattis. I always enjoy going up to Hanover.
Yeah, that was many moons ago. Trip up to Thompson Arena for some hockey.
That was. I haven't been to Thompson in a few years. I haven't been to Burnham Field in a few years either, and that's again one of my great place to watch a soccer match. It's probably been 9-10 years since I've been there. I remember watching the Brown team in 2000 clinch the Ivy League championship at Burnham Field and '98. So we won't wax too poetic. I mean, that's 25 years ago now, but you and I have seen our fair share of soccer matches in this conference.
Yeah, that's a safe statement to make.
Carlo Brown, nice take there by Dartmouth to take the ball back. Wilson on the receiving end, following the well-timed challenge from Fed, and able to check in as Callahan runs right into Barry and then fouled him. Put him in the abdominal stretch, it looked like.
Yeah, good work by Barry. Get his body in position, shielding the ball away and drawing the foul.
Yeah, you'll watch Callahan steps over and then runs into him, and then that's about as easy a foul call as he'll have to make today. So the best scoring chance of the half has belonged to the Bears' Charlie Adams on a PK that Kosti Christodoulou saved. And write that down, folks. Came with about 7 minutes left here in the first half. Keena.
Elbow to the face. That was nasty. That's got to be a card. The AR has got to call the official over. That was an elbow to the face from Ben Jenkins.
Yeah.
And the assistant referee has to call the ref over. He had the flag up immediately. I mean, that has to be talked about.
The two coaches now getting into it on the sideline, and and I think that's what the fourth official's going to go over.
Well, here's another look. You tell me. I mean, that could be a red card. I mean, we've seen red cards for less than that. That was an egregious elbow right to the middle of Keena's face.
Yeah, with absolutely no intent for the ball.
No, that's not a natural motion. And now, I mean, there's all the possibility he's concussed and out. I mean, that is got to be adjudicated by the assistant referee. That's why he's there. It's literally right in front of him. And now you just got to hope that Keena's okay, but I mean, the fact that if that's not even a yellow is absurd.
Yeah, we'll get another look from this angle. Watch, he goes up. Keena's waiting on the ball. Watch, that's the left arm.
Yeah.
That's... you're right, Mike. We have seen straight red thrown for something like that.
I mean, look at him.
He's got a closed eye.
That's not accidental contact. And the fact that they can't even go back and review that is sad, too. I know in other conferences they do have video review that they can look at things specifically like that.
Mike, there's been no card. There will be no card. That's...
And, folks, believe me, if the Bears would have done a similar thing to a Dartmouth player, we would be saying the exact same thing.
Yeah, that's what Chase Wildman's saying. Look, he leaned in with his elbow. And
well, not leaned in. I mean,
that's what he
crushed him. And right in front of the assistant, too. So, I mean, just look at Keena's face.
Again, it doesn't happen by accident. And this is where, Mike, these games have a tendency to get away from officials.
This is where they can go.
We're going to get one more look. Watch, it comes from the left, and then, I mean, you be the judge, folks. So Gustafson checks in. The Bears will move Barry to Keena's central back spot with Spafera. And with 3.5 minutes left here in the first half, Taha sitting with the trainer on the near sideline. And I'm watching them, and Coach Wildman points out to the fourth official, say, look at his face.
Right. I mean...
ridiculous. Hey,
there's another elbow coming in high. I mean...
Apparently that's part of the game plan, Mike. We'll just have to go with it. As Gustafson pushes it back to Barry. Yeah, other conferences, we saw a review earlier today on a...
Well, I know the Big East has it for sure. They've had it for all conference games.
Ball turned ahead. Here's Griglis in transition. Past Wilson for Go-Go Peters. Has Gustafson making the overlapping run, cuts back to center, drives a shot. Christodoulou makes a diving save.
Barely. That one kind of skipped over his arm. I think it hit him in the face. on a wicked bending, bouncing shot from Jamin Go-Go Peters. Yeah, Christodoulou.
He's been solid.
He's been excellent.
Excellent.
Yeah,
the difference
he's been
right
the bright
now.
spot. Oh, for sure. Yep.
100%. Tanner Barry will trot over to take this corner kick for the Bears.
And Keena is not looking any better down there at field level. He is slowly making his way to take a seat on the bench. And I don't know if we'll be seeing him later on today. That's pretty vicious.
Yeah, not great at all. Barry, that's a great corner kick, redirected by Gustafson, and I think it's going to be a goal kick in the end.
Yep, Gustafson off the back of his head.
Change coming. Will Luca will check in. Luca, the first year from New York City. He comes on, and off comes Ben Jenkins, who...
he's fortunately to just be coming off as a sub right now.
And I think the coaching staff trying to calm him down a little bit, too.
I mean, that was right in front of the Dartmouth coaching staff, too.
Yeah, they saw it. They saw what they saw. And you saw Bo Ashani, the head coach of the Dartmouth Big Green, giving a consolation to Keena as well, who is now heading into the locker room about a minute before halftime. Up goes Go-Go Peters on the near side. The turn in the midfield, that's Sam Fenton. Broken up Griglis, setting up under it Carlo Brown. Nice play there by Maine coming through. Dartmouth making the run. Turning back is Callahan. And there's Uno. Sets it upfield. Spafera knocks it out towards midfield. Adams. And there's Griglis and Maine. Battle for it for Ellis. He'll send it upfield. Blattis coming hot-footing off his line. Read it well all the way, and that'll likely take us pretty close to the end of the first half as Blattis releases downfield. Over the head of Carlo Brown. Go-Go Peters. And halftime will bring us scoreless. So another scoreless half of soccer from the Brown Bears as they will head into the break scoreless with Dartmouth. We'll take a timeout after 45 minutes of play. Halftime report on the other side of this timeout. No score. This is the Ivy League on ESPN.
Hall used to come on. I teased Bob Hall, tell him he was the second best quarterback.
These Bulldogs are the top dog. Forward, an overtime winner. Princeton into the round of 32. National NCAA Women's Rugby Championship in the Big Green of Dartmouth. That will do it. The Brown Bears and the Lions face off. And Cornell will play a championship Monday.
Half. 1 and 2. 2 and 4. Half of Black Americans don't have enough savings to retire. So let's retire inequality. Let's step forward together and let's rise together because dignity, security, retirement is for all.
We are the change makers, the rebels, the champions. To be a bear is to possess brains and brawn. To be a bear is to have an insatiable hunger to win, in sports and in life. We are indomitable, unshakable, and unstoppable. We don't just play the game, we change it. Our style is not for everyone. We buck the status quo, we push the boundaries, we think and play outside the box. We are innovators, trailblazers, and leaders. We take our work seriously with unparalleled focus, unmatched humility, and unequaled joy. We are an uplifting community that empowers self-discovery in a way that makes everyone better. All on a campus that exhibits an inspiring spirit of creativity and collaboration. We are the Brown Bears, ever reaching, ever curious, ever resilient, ever true. Together, we roar.
Halftime here in Providence. No score from Stevenson-Pinson's Field on the campus of Brown University. And we're going to take a quick look at the Ivy League men's soccer standings. As we mentioned, coming into today's game, there was a whole lot of machinations that could happen. Right now, Penn, Yale, and Harvard in the driver's seat heading into next week. Brown will play Yale next week. Dartmouth will play Harvard. And so, really, there isn't anything decided quite yet. Nothing is clinched. But what we do know is that Penn, Yale, Harvard in the driver's seat. Brown and Dartmouth just a point behind Cornell with this game in hand.
Yeah, and look at the scores earlier today. Harvard able to hold off Princeton 2-1. Columbia falling to Penn 1-0, and then Yale blanking Cornell 2-0. Sets up showdowns next week. Dartmouth will be hosting Harvard. Yale will be hosting Brown. Penn will be hosting Princeton, and Columbia hosting Cornell. So obviously a lot of movement still could take place. There was only 1 point separating the top 6 teams. 4 of them came into the weekend with 8 points, and the next 2, Brown and Dartmouth, with 7 points respectively. Take a look there. Of course, all these games available on ESPN Plus. Should be quite the final weekend of the regular season for Ivy League men's soccer.
And if you go a day before that, the Ivy League women's tournament will kick off on Friday. Brown will be hosting Columbia following a Harvard-Princeton matchup. All of those games featuring teams that are ranked in the top at least 25 of the RPI.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a banner year for the Ivy League and women's soccer, and expecting multiple bids when it comes tournament selection time for the big dance.
No score here from Providence. We'll be back with more of our halftime report when we return. This is the Ivy League on ESPN.
I think the shared commitment we all have is that we're here to decrease the stigma around mental health. We want to make it a more open conversation, whether it's talking about student-athlete mental health, coaches' mental health. We got one goal. We just got to work together to complete that.
I think the evolution of the conversation about mental health has become prominent year after year for the last decade, if not more. But I think we're finally at the tipping point where the conversation isn't just about how are we reactive to prevent worst case scenarios, but how are we managing everyday stressors and activities?
I have really loved today. I mean, just the conversations. I love talking about mental health, and so being able to dive deeper. I think the keynote was incredible, seeing what mental health in athletics looks like really at the highest level.
Mental health is the same thing as physical health, right? We all have it. You guys are all in the sports space. You wake up in the morning and you do a physical check. It might actually inform how you work out that day, how you approach your training. What would happen if we took the same approach to mental health?
This is my first mental health summit that I've been able to attend, and just recognizing the value of sharing those best practices. We all have very unique institutions, and so, I think it's very valuable to sit here and think, hey, that's really cool, jot that down. How can I adapt that for our institution? And it's also a really incredible moment to be able to just have a lot of school pride, a lot of league pride.
I've always thought mental health is very important. The stress and anxiety that student athletes have to go through to play their sport, to compete in their sport, there's so much going on outside of that, and I think this mental health summit is a really good step forward to decrease that stigma and to continue to give access and to continue to give thoughts.
I think mental health is something where, because we don't talk about it as often, I think coaches might not fully understand the grasp of what that feels like to an athlete.
If your team is not open about talking about mental health, you have to open the doors and you got to be like, guys, we're all in this together.
Dartmouth College has taken holistic student-athlete development incredibly seriously. I was one of few athletic administrators with a sports psychology background, and then since my role has evolved in the last 5 years, I've been able to continue to support a team that is collectively building to enhance mental wellness, well-being, and performance of all of our student-athletes. How do we make sure we're cultivating an environment? And this is where everyone in the room has an impact on the environment that occurs within your campus. And all of us need to be actively cultivating it.
I want the idea of mental health being stigmatized to be something so of the past that we can't even imagine not having this open conversation.
I'm Marco Montero, class of 2026. I major in business economics in IAPA. I play football, and I'm from Vitória, Brazil. I started playing football midway through my sophomore year. I've always played soccer before. I've always been big, and I feel like I didn't use my size and my weight as much as I could have. Soccer wasn't the sport in which I could do that, so I feel like it made sense if I made that transition. I picked up the language quite fast. I was fluent in 6 months. And that's what happens when you're around the language so frequently as I was. Making friends was a little tougher because I was around Brazilians the most of the time through my ELA program. But as soon as I got introduced to football, that's when I got friends from other cultures and other areas, and that really, really helped me. I wouldn't say forced me, but that allowed me to embrace myself into another culture, the American culture more. And I made some of my best friends playing football, and it's very easy to do that while keeping the Brazilian culture, because at the end of the day, I go home and I'm Brazilian. I go home and my mom is always going to be Brazilian. It's always going to be treating me with the Brazilian way. I'm looking to go give back to my country in many, many ways. I want to be able to introduce the game to the Brazilian people, because there's a lot of people there that could benefit from this opportunity. My message is, if you want to do something that really inspires you, you should do it. I was always scared of doing what I thought it was going to be good for me. Don't waste no time, because you're never going to get that time back, and you're going to be looking back at the time you've wasted. So yeah, just do what your heart tells you to do, and it'll take you long places.
My name is Maya Mangiafico. I'm originally from Medfield, Massachusetts. I play on the women's ice hockey team here at Brown University, and I'm concentrating in economics. What originally drew me to hockey was actually my brother. When I first saw him play in the rinks, and he was out there with all guys, and I really wanted in, so I asked my parents if I could play, and they signed me up, and the rest was history. I was born with a mild frequency hearing loss and a language processing disorder. Basically, what a language processing disorder is difficulty understanding speech in noisy environments, definitely with a lot of background noise. It has definitely affected me during academics and athletics in smaller ways, but I would say that I definitely had to face many challenges, especially here at Brown. One of the things that I do is just after class checking in with professors, things that I might have missed. And from a time management perspective, obviously as a student athlete, that can be really challenging to make time to meet with my professors, meet with my TAs. With my hearing loss, my coaches know, my teammates know. That case when my coaches are yelling on the ice and I don't respond, they know why. And I guess just the biggest thing for me is communication and letting people know, letting the freshmen know. Our team dynamic is absolutely awesome. The team culture is something we created naturally. We never really had to work at it. It's really something special. We all absolutely have each other's back. We all love each other. And I think Coach Mel has really bought into that bond, and she's bought into the program. I would just say, if you have a dream, chase it. I've been told many times growing up, you're not good enough, you're not going to do this, you're not going to do that, and here I am. So I guess to anybody younger than me, yeah, don't give up on your dream.
Welcome back, folks. Good to have you with us here from Stevenson Pinson's Field. Scoreless first half, Mike, but not a game that has not been without its chances. Both goaltenders have been up to the task so far, in particular the play of Kosti Christodoulou.
Yeah, it was Hudson Gladys tested a little bit early, having to handle that corner kick, but then the Bears would get after it. Amaral, a wicked shot here, took a deflection, and that's what made that save even trickier for the Dartmouth netminder, Kosti Christodoulou. One of the better chances there, Vasilis Miras not missing by much. That one actually might have scraped the outside of the post as well. Another dangerous ball played into the area, but the Bears, in the end, able to clear it away. The Bears would go on the offensive again. Charlie Adams from range. Nice half volley trying to sink it past Christodoulou, and then that shot into the wall from Christian Fed, not once but twice. And then the big moment, Adams, penalty kick saved by Christodoulou.
And then perhaps the penultimate moment of the half, the would-be foul that the foul wasn't a would-be foul. It was a foul that Taha Kita took an elbow to the face, and not only was there no yellow card, there no red card, really not even really a stern talking to Ben Jenkins, nothing.
And I think that's what had the Bears all fired up on the sideline. Coach Wildman incredulous, and I don't blame him a single bit. You see your captain take a shot like that. Seemed pretty clear and obvious from up here, but unfortunately the officials do not have the ability to review such plays, at least this season. Maybe that'll be a spark for something to change in the future. The only yellow card actually issued to the Bears, Jack Clardy, and that would seem more like a routine foul than anything. Things pretty close, though. The Bears, though, 5 shots, all of them on goal, forcing Christodoulou to make 5 saves. Hudson Blattis only called to action once in terms of making a save, and the Bears with the advantage in corner kicks as well. As you'd have to say, generally advantage Brown for that half, although Dartmouth did have a couple of sparks, especially when they were able to get players like Trenton Blake in space. He was outstanding and did cause some problems for the Bears.
Well, as we look ahead, Mike, I think to the second half, I think a couple of keys. One, be interesting to see what the Bears do with their back line, particularly if Taha Kina's out for the day. Yeah. And second, again, the net shrinking on the Bears. There's no question. You have a penalty shot, you miss it. You haven't scored now in the better part of now 3.5 games.
Yeah, and I mean, they're doing it in all kinds of different ways. They're hitting the post, they're hitting the crossbar, setting it just wide. They're getting PKs stopped. Like, you know, what's it going to take for these Bears to get on track from an offensive standpoint once again? And could be, you know, up to that man there, Kojo Dadsey. He's had some dazzling moves once again. I thought we saw some pretty good minutes out of Jamin Gogo Peters. Obviously, he's had a tough season after a breakout year as a freshman where he had 7 goals and 2 assists. But the Brown faithful looking on. A lot of alumni for both the men and the women in attendance for the 2 matches today. But again, putting yourself into a position for the Ivy League tournament, that is high on the list of things that are important about this game for both teams. Again, Dartmouth and Brown tied in the standings coming into the weekend with 7 points apiece. That had them in 5th place together. Things starting to shake out a little bit more after the results today. But 3 valuable points on the line here tonight and trying to keep themselves in contention for one of those 4 spots in the Ivy League tournament. There's a look again at the standings, and that is inclusive of the other games that have already come to completion here today.
So, Mike, I think, you know, we've talked about what the Bears' question marks will be going into the second half. I wonder what Dartmouth will be seeing as their biggest key going into half number 2.
Well, I think they got to find more creative ways to get some of their danger men in positions where they can affect the game, especially that man right there, Vasilis Miras. He doesn't need a lot of space. He doesn't need a lot of opportunities. For him, sometimes it's just one little magical moment that can do another team in. The Bears are going to have to keep track of him in this half, as we saw him shake off a couple of defenders and get a quality scoring opportunity in that first half where he only missed by a matter of inches.
For Brown, it's Amaral, Pilar, Dadsey, Gogo Peters, Mitchell, Griglis, Clority, Gustafson, Spofera, and Barry to start this second half. And for Dartmouth, it would appear that they have gone back to their starting 11. Yes. I'm just looking for...
Well, of course, you know, Keena's still on the bench, Mike, is... He has, or maybe not even on the bench, but certainly not on the field of play for the Bears, and that is not a good sign. And it didn't look good when he got crushed with that elbow.
Yeah, it was a flying elbow. I mean, there's no way to describe it any other way. And we're not going to belabor the point, folks. It was an unfortunate moment in this match.
Well, it's a game-changing type of play, but not in a good way. You know, usually you look at a goal and. Miras doing his best to sell that one.
Well, he went down hard.
Well, he pops up, though. He's
all right.
Unfortunately for the big green, seems to be able to shake that one off.
Ball played up. We were looking for Arvahar. Miras trying to put a move on Dadsey. Dishes to the right side. Centered. Arvahar has it taken away. Mitchell sends it out. Climbing the ladder, it'll come to Go-Go Peters. Gives it back to Pilar, who cuts back. Swings it out to the left for Coach Joe Dadsey. He'll leave it for Tanner Barry on the left side. Continues to take his space. Just got run down
from behind. Yeah,
and again, leaning in with the elbow there was Oscar Magnuson.
Yeah, coming into the back of Dadsey.
You can see it right there. Just leans right into him. Sorry, that was Ellis, not Magnuson. Apologies to Magnuson. Bears go all the way back to Barry. Gustafson left side. Works his way back towards center. Clarity. Transitioning left to right are the Bears attacking in the home whites. Pilar, far side. So it looks like the change in the midfield is Amaral for Adams. As Amaral was playing on the wing in the first half for Brown. Gustafson does have the long throw. It looks like the Bears are going to wait for Spafera to head up. He's probably one of the bigger targets.
Well, and why not? We saw, the Big Green really utilize the talents of Andrew Ellis and his long throws in the first half.
Gustafson winds up, sends it in. Amaral tried to step up, and Gustafson will touch all the way back for Barry, and he'll square it for Mitchell. So the Bears now have bookends with the long throws. Mitchell's is perhaps more of a threat even than Gustafson's. You just saw Gustafson's is not too shabby. Spafera going up and over the top. Go Peters right side. Settles, comes to the right, little step over, splits two defenders, and then knocked away in the end. Bailing it out was Maine.
And that's almost exactly how he drew the penalty kick in the first half. Little pullback move and then splitting the defenders, getting entry into the 18.
Sent away by Uno as it was played initially by Levi Pilar. Grayson Mitchell will take the throw.
And they will bring up Spafera again. Try to utilize his big frame.
Mitchell didn't see a lot of action as a first year. Found his way into the lineup. Takes the long throw. It bounces in front. Dadsey levels it. The drive up and over the top as Griglis was just leaning away.
Yeah, just kind of sliced it off the outside of his boot there. Just trying to direct it on frame, but yeah, what a weapon the Bears have from both flanks now with Gustafson and Mitchell tossing it in.
About 4 minutes plus gone now here in the second half. No score. Christodoulou. That's my vote for Defensive Player of the Week so far.
Yeah, 5 saves in that first half, including stopping the penalty on the road. He's been tremendous. Had 8 saves last week in the 2-0 loss against Cornell. Cornell getting both of its goals in the second half. Alex Harris in the 51st minute and Millars Feher in the 54th minute of action. A couple of defensive breakdowns for the Big Green in that one, and Cornell able to take advantage.
Ball be put down, and the pace of the second half so far seems a little bit more pedestrian at times.
Well, yeah, first minute or two was pretty much what we saw at the end of the first half, and now it has since come to a screeching halt.
Magnon sends it upfield. Settled in the midfield by Amaral, and stepping into him from behind was Orette Main.
Yeah, just kind of clipping the back of Amaral.
Right side Mitchell. Leads it for Go-Go Peters. Takes toward the end line and runs out of real estate. It was well defended. Give credit where credit is due. Sam Fenton, and a smile on the face of Go-Go Peters, who knew right there that Fenton just played it well.
Yeah, he also got some help out of Trenton Blake. You know, Blake with that great speed was coming back to challenge as well. That kind of cut off Go-Go Peters' opportunity to cut it back to his left. Had to try to then go around Fenton, and Fenton just too good with his body, able to shield it out of play.
Well, Krista Dulu will take the goal kick out. Sends it upfield. Heavy hit over the head of Dadsey and then runs out of bounds. Last touch by Clorty for a Dartmouth throw-in. They quickly play it in and turn it over. Gustafson sends it upfield. Up steps Clorty. One in the air. Second ball belongs to Dartmouth. Barry, and then deflects off to Dadsey via Tom Collins. Dadsey trying to get it out of traffic. Gives it to Barry, who sends it out toward midfield. Pilar trying to set underneath it. Clorty ahead trying to feed Amaral, and boy, Dartmouth coming from an offside position. Miras doesn't like it, but the Bears line had held. It was the right call. And let's see if they bring Bladis way out to take it.
It looks like that will indeed be the case.
Sent upfield. Over the head of Dadsey. Pilar working down toward the end line. Holds it in. Drops pass back for Gustafson. He has Griglis at center. Griglis goes back to Spafera, trying to look for Mitchell on the right side. Mitchell wants Jamin Go-Go Peters to run. Sends it up and over the top. Go-Go at the end line. Little touch for Amaral as misses its mark, and Dartmouth sends it out of bounds. Looked like it might have been tipped by Amaral, much to their chagrin. The Bears take it quickly. Go-Go Peters and now Grayson Mitchell. Back to Amaral on the right side, attacks off the flank. Runs towards center. Has the left foot, decides not to shoot. Dishes for Dadsey. Dadsey drives a shot up and over the top of the net.
Yeah, just leaned back too much to Dadsey that time, but it got cut towards the middle from Amaral to free up a little bit of space and then find Dadsey at the top of the box.
Yeah, Dadsey had some space, but perhaps some closing speed on that side by Andrew Ellis as well to cause some problems for the Brown senior. Ball one in the air by Barry and slung upfield by Magnuson. Pilar sets underneath the ball. Clorty can't get there. Reset Ellis. Tough touch. Amaral, Griglis, Magnuson on the ball again for Dartmouth. Again, the big green wearing the black and greens. Attacking right to left and sending it out of bounds. And way down the hill on Berylson. That one lifted, and again, Miras from an offside position.
Yeah, he's been caught a couple of times now in this half.
Bears play it quickly to Harry Spofera. Bears have had a couple of different combinations at center back as Mitchell couldn't get past Trenton Blake, who's caused problems. Works up the left side, puts it across. It's a good ball. Tanner Barry able to get ahead to it and send it away. Does Clorty. Reset. Gustafson has some space and knocks it to Pilar in midfield. Dadsey. Again, the Bears struggling to control the possessions here and just a lot of ping-ponging around.
Yeah, a lot of tough first touches out there and trying to settle the ball. And this one will stay with the Bears.
One in the air. Clorty juggles and Boots it out toward the right side. Mitchell for Go-Go Peters, who's been a little bit more of a feature spot here in this second half. He cuts back again and is cleaned out there by Magnon, who had to give some support to Sam Fenton.
Yeah, Fenton not falling for that long sweeping cut now that we've seen Go-Go Peters use on multiple occasions tonight. Might want to mix that up on the next move. There's a quick throw in for Go-Go Peters. Tries to juggle around Fenton, but again, Fenton able to win the duel and pick up the foul in the process.
Yeah, 11th foul of the day against the Bears. They're even now with the big green. And watch Go-Go Peters. Yeah, he's got his arms all over him.
Yep, pulled him down.
Pretty easy call. Christodoulou on the restart following the foul. Gustafson lifts one towards midfield. Orrit Main, Griglis, Amaral, and now here comes Griglis again. Fights through, but again fought a little too much on it. And off his shin for a throw-in. Fenton takes it for Dartmouth. Throws it into Arvahar, and native of Stockholm sets it out of bounds, off of a Bear. It was Mitchell. That's a handball. The Bears got away with it.
Yeah, play on, says the official in that situation.
Good turn there by Miras. Wants the shot. Takes it. Stuck by Barry as he blocked it. Amaral, Go-Go Peters. Fenton picks him up. Go-Go Peters doesn't have anywhere to go. Here comes the double team. He goes back the other way and can't quite slip it past Collins, who resets for Dartmouth. Out ahead, Arvahar right side, and now Ellis into the attacking third. Good ball, and Miras. That's a nifty shot. He's frustrated, but boy, that was a good shot.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been highlight reel material if he gets that one just a foot or so to the left or right of Blattis. But for the Bears, they catch a break as Miras puts it right at the Bears' senior keeper.
And now we know why his hand's bandaged. He took it out on the turf.
Yeah, what a great opportunity, though. Again, the Bears cannot lose track of him like that, especially inside the 18.
Well, and this is where you're without your center back. Yeah. The Bears got to tighten it up. Go-Go Peters climbing the ladder on him was Fenton, and off Griglis. It'll be a throw-in for Dartmouth. Fans getting a little anxious as well. I think it's been a while since the Bears have found the back of the net, and Blake and Griglis exchanging pleasantries. Spafera sends it out of bounds.
Honestly, it's been a while since they've had this meaningful of a game this late in the season, Mike. And now with the addition of the Ivy League tournament, this is what it provides. I mean, let's face it, Dartmouth and Brown would have been out of consideration for anything, and this would have been the season finale, or at least at home for the Bears. But now with the advent of the Ivy League tournament,
yeah, these games are meaningful.
Yeah, I mean, this is what it's for. So Adams will come back in.
Go-Go Peters heads to the sideline. Looks a little slow.
Yeah, looks a little sore coming off.
Pilar fouled by Magnon. A smart play by Magnuson to step in front of the ball. And
smart but illegal also.
Yeah, well, he just got the quick whistle. And the Bears reset. Magnuson. That's Gustafson, I'm sorry, over on the left. I think I just called him Magnuson. Wrong team. Amaral from Mitchell. Works to the right corner. Now back towards the top of the box. He's doubled. Keeps it himself. Wants to beat him one-on-one. Centering pass. Griglis drops back for Spafera. And the Bears will have to reset. Barry left side. They'll switch for Gustafson. 15 minutes gone here in a scoreless second half. And a good play by Arvahar to come back to the ball. Miras on it for the big green. Right to left now comes Trenton Blake. Quick with the ball. It played right into Clority and sent past Miras, but out of bounds for a big green throw. Miras is going to take it, and he picked it up quickly, and then the Bears did a good job of finding a man and denying what could have been a fast break for Sam Fenton, who was pointing down the sideline. He'll take the throw instead for Abahar. Mitchell all over him. And that time they will get a handball on Amaral.
That sets up another good opportunity here for Dartmouth.
Bears will bring back Pilar. Dartmouth sending up Uno. There's another target. He's 6'2", Orrit Main listed at 6'3", so a couple of big fellas up for the Big Green. Don't sleep on Arvahar as well. He's listed at 6'4" and is just a freshman.
Yeah, and here's where the Bears defense has to know who has who, what are the assignments.
And Griglis comes away with the ball off his head. Uno turns toward the end line. Off Kojo Dadzi. It's a throw-in, not a corner. Deep.
Yeah, but with Ellis, almost as good as we've seen before.
Yeah, for sure. Andrew Ellis, the junior from Minneapolis, can rear back and really give a throw a ride. For a second there, had Collins checking to him short. Looks like the target may be Arvahar. Yep. He got a head on it. Griglis heads through, and the save on the Orrit Main shot as he came running through.
Yeah, that's one of those scary kind of shots if you're a Brown Bear, as it could take a deflection on the way in, which could cause all kinds of problems for Blattis. But this one pretty much straight on, and he's been solid.
Yeah, Hudson Blattis, you know, Coach Wildman telling us, you know, he put in a lot of extra work. He's one of the best shot stoppers that they've had in the program. And, you know, interestingly enough, and you and I both have been around soccer and hockey a long time, well, lacrosse maybe as well. Not often that your goalie is like one of your top 2 or 3 men on the fitness test, but Hudson Blattis is.
Yeah, Coach Wildman saying he's been absolutely crushing it this season. He's been doing even better than a lot of the field players, and that says a lot.
Here comes Amaral. Had Griglis overlapping, drives a shot, it's blocked, stepping up Clority, takes a rip. Dadzi says, no, says the official as he went down. You'd have to imagine it's going to take something right out of a shotgun to
certainly
draw.
not a lot there.
No, absolutely. The referee, I guess my point is, it's going to have to be something rather egregious for him to go to a penalty kick again.
Yeah, I mean, the first one was pretty obvious, so that was an easy call.
That was not.
Uno had taken down Go-Go Peters.
And I guess I bring that up because there was an audible groan from some of the Brown fans, and there was not really a whole lot there warranting anything as Dartmouth plays it quickly upfield. Griglis switches out to Amaral. Orrit Main picks him up. Main is just, he is a very good defender.
A big guy. He's listed at 6'3". Seems definitely all of that, if not more.
Yeah, he takes up a lot of space. Here's a whistle.
Might have been out of bounds.
Out of bounds, yeah. The AR had his flag up. Bears will take the throw in. Grayson Mitchell to take this toss for Brown. And they're going to move him back. Amaral has been dangerous with the ball. Lost the handle and sent away by Fenton. Out of bounds, though, and a throw in. Mitchell will take a jog back for the throw-in. We near 20 minutes gone here in this second half, still scoreless. And at the juncture of the season, Mike, where a tie maybe doesn't hurt you, but doesn't help you as much as a win. No. You need a win.
Yeah, the Bears need the 3 points here at home.
And especially with Yale looming next week in a game that will determine placement in the playoffs for both teams, unless the Bears are already out of it. And we'll see what transpires over the next 25 odd minutes. Clority, Gustafson, and Dadzi. Looking ahead, Adams the 1-2. Chopping at it was Main and sent away by Trenton Blake. Arvahar in transition. as Miras at center. Good track back by the Bears' Tanner Barry, and that's going to be a corner kick. And, you know, all the credit in the world there to Douglas Arbahar, who really just made that so difficult on Tanner Barry and drew the corner kick out of nothing.
Yeah, good pressure there and really leaving Barry with no other options in that situation. So now it goes to the foot of Magnuson and take the corner from the far side of the pitch. Second corner of the night for Dartmouth. Pretty much everyone up except for Sebastian Magnon.
Headed down, Dadsey, plenty of space. Sets it ahead for Amaral. Turns back, continues to dribble, cuts back towards the near sideline. Can Langdon Griglis catch up to it? No, he cannot. And squandered a heck of an effort from Amaral, but really not a whole lot Griglis could do with it either.
Impromptu water break here for Fenton.
That allowed?
Apparently.
Taking his time on the throw now is Fenton. Tosses it in from midfield. Mitchell goes up. Amaral the touch, Griglis. Amaral, and now Magnon for the green, sends it out of bounds. A little too cute maybe with the pass. And Amaral will leave the throw. Mitchell throws it in for Amaral. Yeah, there's the water break. Okay. Hydration is important, folks. We remember that. Griglis back for Barry. Through the midfield. Griglis to the left side. Gustafson. And too much ahead of Charlie Adams. And you could just sense the frustration mounting for this Brown team that has gone a lot of games now without scoring.
Yeah, I mean, this is the fourth game in a row now, which they have not found the back of the net. 3 straight 0-0 draws for the Bears coming into tonight. They had the chance. Penalty kick saved by Christodoulou.
Left side, Adams, who had the aforementioned PK. Magnon and Fenton working up the left side and forced right out of bounds by Amaral, who's played well on the flank.
Yeah, he's been a bright spot for the Bears. Had some chances up top. Has played well defensively and getting back in position. The question for both coaches, who will they turn to off of the bench to try to get something to go in their favor? There's another foul on Dartmouth.
Yeah, Arbahar and Miras both put a lot of heat on Barry as he released the ball. He ended up on the turf, and now it looks like the Bears getting Kyle G and Carlo Brown up, which is the typical juncture for the change.
And Christian Fed for Dartmouth at the table already.
Up. Oh, boy. Big win in the air by Magnon, that is. Clority trying to lift it ahead for Adams. Adams juggles it back to his left, swings it out to Gustafson. Gustafson taking his space, left side Dadsey, goes back for Griglis. He's got nowhere to go, centers for Clority, and he'll have to go all the way back for Barry, who resets. Spafera and now Mitchell. Dartmouth putting the Bears under a bit. Mitchell ahead for Amaral. Works back towards center. Turns. Dances through. Uno took him down.
How many times?
Yeah.
Okay.
Uno's getting yellow carded. Yeah, and he knew it. He goes over to give the pat to Amaral. And Uno, the first year from Paris, France. There have been no shortage of hard hits in this game delivered by some of these big fellas from Dartmouth. And you get another look at it here. Emerald cutting across, and watch out of the right side of your screen here, folks. And wham.
Yeah.
And he knew it.
He knew he was late on the challenge.
Yep,
a little reckless, just a step behind, and clear and obvious card there.
First card against Dartmouth.
Yeah, each team now with one. As Clarity picked up one for the Bears back in the first half.
You going on frame here, Mike, from this range? I think so, but Clarity and Emerald.
Emerald, Clarity talking it over.
5-man wall for Dartmouth. Not the tightest of walls, but it's a wall nonetheless. And that one in on Christodoulou. He makes the save.
Yeah, you just need to get a little bit more pace behind that type of shot. The distance that it has to cover allows the goalkeeper that much extra time to make the save. The finesse shot, though, from Clarity, just rather comfortable in the end for Christodoulou, as he is now up to
7
saves now. Well, yeah, I think we got to wait for it to update, but that should be his 7th of the game.
And the turn lifted up and over the top by Trenton Blake, and now the subs will check in as Fed for Dartmouth, Carlo Brown, Kyle G for the Bears. It looks like Levi Pilar and Lorenzo Amaral off for Brown, and for Dartmouth, Magnuson will head to the sidelines. As we are into the final 19 minutes of this one, no score from Stevenson-Pinsent's Field. Earlier today, the Brown women with a 2-0 whitewashing of Dartmouth. That clean sheet gave the Bears a 7-0 finish. They'd already clinched the #1 seed overall in next week's Ivy League women's soccer tournament. They will host Columbia, who took care of business against Princeton. Princeton will face Harvard in the early game on Friday afternoon. The Bears will face Columbia on Friday evening. 2 and 5 are the kickoff times, assuming Harvard and Princeton doesn't end up in double overtimes and shootouts and everything else. Because there will be overtime in the postseason.
Oh, of course. And then the championship game will be held at 12 noon on Sunday, also right here at Stevenson-Pinsent's Field.
Near side, nice touch by Mitchell. Kyle G gives it back to him. They run another give and go, and Kyle works left to right. Taking his space, does G. Pulls back. Mitchell tracks back with 4 black and green jerseys on him, and Spafera will have to go all the way back to Blattis. He'll lift one up and over midfield. Carlo Brown with Magnon all over him. Comes back. Well, Carlo comes to the right side, is too far ahead of G. And Dartmouth making a change once again, bringing James Wilson back into the match, replacing Trenton Blake. So speed for speed here for the Big Green.
Not a bad idea here. Of course, some tired legs on the back line for the Bears.
Throw in over the head of Arvahar. Mitchell. Arvahar again. Like Spafera wanted the call for a handball. Didn't come. Fed. Dribbles. Touches back for Fenton. And working right to left comes Collins. Collins, the Briton, comes back to the left and draws the corner kick. Impressive footwork there from the senior from Wellington, England.
And wasn't much there, so the best thing you could do, try to earn that corner kick and set something up. Fed will come over to take it. And Dartmouth bringing everyone up near the box outside of Magnon once again. Bears with everybody back inside the 18 to defend.
Oh, a beautiful header finds Blattis. That was just a beauty of a header off of Andrew Ellis.
Yeah, I mean, Ellis basically a free header off the corner, and once again, right at Blattis. The short-handed senior able to make the grab.
Yeah, that goes in. Another highlight reel for...
Yeah, if you're Dartmouth, you have to bury that shot, though. Ellis needs to find the back of the net.
Here comes Gustafson. Clarity, Barry, Spafera, and now here's Mitchell. Inside 15 and a half minutes left now. Get the feeling, Mike, in a game like this, it's only going to be one.
Oh, yeah. You could ask me that before the game. I felt that.
Yeah.
This one is a one-goal type of game.
Clarity to the left side. Gustafson sending Carlo Brown up the wing. Carlo trying to turn in the corner against Uno. And it's going to be a Dartmouth throw-in deep in their own territory. Well measured by Clarity, lost his footing. Wanted the call, didn't get it. It's a Brown throw anyways.
So if this remains a draw, that'll create a three-way tie for fourth place in the league between Cornell, Brown, and Dartmouth heading into the final weekend, with Princeton at 5 points, an opportunity to pick up 3 more next week. So
and Cornell beat Dartmouth, so they would have the tiebreaker with the Big Green. Brown and Dartmouth, on the other hand, Brown and Cornell played to one of those draws, 1-1. So then I think it goes to...
exactly.
Would it go to the? It might go to the record against the 3, and then Cornell, by virtue of the win over Dartmouth, would get the tiebreak.
If that is indeed.
If that's the next tiebreaker. I don't know whether it's that, if that's the next tiebreaker, or if it's record against the top 3 teams in the league.
Or sometimes, yeah, it might go as a top team and then to the next one, the next one down, and all that. But right now, a
timeout on the field for a cramping situation. I think it's Clarity who's down.
So obviously a 3 points taken tonight by either side would put that team in a good spot. It would have them all alone in fourth heading into the final weekend of play. Again, the Bears will be at Yale. Dartmouth will be hosting Harvard. And Penn will be hosting Princeton, and Columbia hosting Cornell in the final weekend of the regular season next Saturday afternoon into the evening. And again, the timing of those games all spread out as well. So there could be some scoreboard watching for some of the teams involved. With start times at noon, 4, 5, and 6 p.m.
Please, Callahan, take the place of number 9. Douglas.
Well, the crowd here on Alumni Day getting a little restless, a little nervous heading into the final 13:59. And I believe what they were saying is it should have been a Brown throw. Fenton for Dartmouth has the ball, and indeed they talk things over, and it will be a Brown throw-in.
Clarity had gone down on the field for the being tended to by the trainer, so he has to wait for the 4th official to allow him back in. Only a matter of time, really. A little bit of a missed touch. Adams for Mitchell. Out ahead and set out of bounds again. And 3 Bears getting ready to check in as Pilar and Amaral check back in. And so too does Ike Daffé. We haven't called his name yet today. As off come Adams, Mitchell, and Carlo Brown.
Number 11, Carlo Brown, and number 25, Grayson Mitchell.
Daffé had gotten hurt a couple weeks back, I think in the Stonehill game, and missed a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's just his 8th appearance of the season now after missing some time.
Ball sent up and lifted back downfield by the Big Green. So it looks like the Bears now have moved Barry back to the wingback spot. Gustafson and Daffé along with Spafera. Gustafson sending it deep. Looking to send Pilar, and just turned did Magnon for a throw-in, and it's going to belong to the Bears. They'll have Dafe again. They don't have Mitchell's long throw-in anymore.
Yeah, you do lose that as a weapon. I mean, they do have Gustafson, should they choose to use him.
I wonder if this is about speed. I mean, trying to capitalize on a couple of the big green players who maybe have some tired legs. It's hard to really speculate too much.
Well, also Mitchell's been running up and down that side all night long. He could be a little bit gassed.
Here's Dafe. Phineas Callahan also in for Dartmouth as that one's curled across. And Christodoulou there in the end just narrowly missed a connection with Levi Pilar in front.
Pilar just needed a little of a glancing header. Might have been able to cause some problems for Christodoulou.
Here comes Dartmouth in transition. Callahan, a good look for Miras on the near side, and he had nowhere to go, didn't want a goal kick, and decides to make it a difficult throw for the Bears. Heady play.
And Daffy's got to be careful. They'll send him back a couple of paces as he tries to creep up that sideline.
Now they'll give it to Gustafson, who has the longer throw, and he takes a few more yards. Pilar with a heel. Uno. Dafe. Tanner Barry put under by Callahan. Callahan with some fresh legs makes life difficult on Spafera, who has to get a touch. And, you know, that's what you want out of Callahan. Very well played by the junior out of Norwalk, Connecticut. And now Dartmouth will make another change, reinserting Trenton Blake into the lineup.
Yeah, really excellent pressure there out of Callahan, causing all sorts of problems for multiple Bears on that play.
So Blake on, Collins off for Dartmouth as we head into the game's final 11 minutes. And stuck by Dafe out of bounds. Another 0-0 game for Brown would be their fourth straight. I have to imagine that's some sort of record. As it's sent across, pulls up on Spafera. Touched back in by Maine and set away by Gustafson. Some backspin on it. Magnon on the ball. Up goes three Bears, and Pilar actually got taken out by his own, not Pilar, I'm sorry. Griglis got taken out by his own man. It was definitely Clorty who made contact with him, and that's what the referee is telling Gustafson. Hey, look, it was his own guy, and that's accurate.
Yeah, that was just unfortunate there. Two Bears kind of colliding. I'm not sure if it was the head-to-head or just the way the ball caught him kind of in the side of the face as well. And these two teams down to just 10:07, trying to get a little bit of separation from each other heading into the final weekend. Otherwise, it'll be a three-way tie for first and a three-way tie for fourth heading into the final game. Here's another look. And yeah, Clorty is kind of getting some contact there with Griglis.
Should be a drop ball, and it will be Magnon sending it downfield, headed towards center. And Griglis will be allowed to re-enter play.
Oh, boy. That almost takes out Amaral.
Yeah, well, you know. Who had that on their bingo card? Fed on the near side, cuts back on Dafe, and now plays it towards center. Settled back, a drive, blocked, and sent away. Again sent by the Bears' Tanner Barry. Maine, Dafe, and now near side comes Amaral. Bears looking to counterattack. Amaral right side, Dartmouth a good transition to get back. 9.5 to play. Amaral puts it across, rolling ball. Kojo, the shot of the score! Kojo Dadsey! The scoreless streak is over and the Bears have a mark. It's 1-0 Brown Dadsey on Senior Day.
What a counterattack by the Bears, and when they've needed him most, Kojo Dadsey rises to the occasion and puts the Bears on top 1-0 for Dadsey, his 7th goal of the season and 16th of his career on Senior Night.
All started with a good ball through from the back line, and Again, Amaral has been so quick and so dangerous. That one just left out. 3 defenders converge, and even Christodoulou, who has been so good tonight, couldn't come up with the save.
Yeah, can't fault him at all on that goal.
No, he's been
lights out.
Yeah, he almost got a leg on it, too. I mean,
that did get a little toe on that and knock it away. But
save, yeah.
Dadsey comes through in the clutch. Now the Brown defense has to hold.
Substitution was made on the change. Grayson Mitchell is back on for Dafe. As Kojo Dadsey, his team-high 7th goal of the season.
Amaral picking up the assist as he should.
It's the 7th goal of the season for number 23, Kojo Dadsey.
There's Kyle G. Oh, boy.
Now you know it's going to be a furious finish in this one. Dartmouth will be bringing the house.
Magnon in the midfield, and my guess is we're going to watch and see what Dartmouth does possession-wise. Miras back on the game, back on the field. He replaced Callahan at the last turn after the goal. Ball sent back in. Up goes Blattis with Arvahar coming hard.
And again, Blattis just so calming back there and has great control of his area. Able to out-duel the big Douglas Arvahar. The Swede unable to get the touch on that one, but Kojo Dadsey and the Bears leading this one 1-0 on that 81st minute goal. And another chance here for Dadsey.
He was putting under Andrew Ellis and knocked back downfield. Dadsey, a nice touch for Kyle G, left side. Sends one back towards center, and it's going to be a goal kick. Bears are going to get Charlie Adams back into the match. And again, the clock will run. There's under 8 minutes remaining, and Adams will replace, I think, Amaral. Not a bad decision there, Mike. I mean, you get Amaral's speed off the field, which is problematic, but Adams has a little bit more of a physical presence on the interior.
Yeah, I think, Coach Wildman needs to shore up the defense right now and take a more defensive posture heading down the stretch. Keep in mind, they are without their center back and captain, Taha Kina, after he took a vicious elbow to the face from Ben Jenkins in the first half.
In the midfield, pushed through did Orrit Main. Left side, here comes Trenton Blake. Near side, Mitchell sends it out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in for Dartmouth. Sam Fenton tosses it in quickly. Stepping up, Maine, the header. Clority. 7 minutes remaining. There's a lot of soccer, and a lot can happen in 7 minutes. And again, possession-wise, or I'm sorry, I keep using the word possession. I mean formation-wise, this is, I think, where you'll see Dartmouth maybe cheat up Maine a little bit more. He's a big target at 6'3". They already seem to be pressing with their flank back Fenton a little bit more as Adams tries to play it away. Over the head of Fed. Nice turn by Clority, and Arvahar gets it back. Mitchell to the corner, steps in front, and that's a goal kick.
Well, the Bears kind of lucked out there. It was hard to tell almost who got the deflection as the Brown faithful have come to life here. And
I think Mitchell just jumped over the ball and was able to keep it from going off his foot, which would have been a corner kick. And you go back to a couple of moments of this, that brilliant shot by Vasilis Miras and the other header by, I think it was Ellis, that both were stopped by Hudson Blattis.
Yeah, Blattis has been solid as he has been since taking over the #1 spot.
Yep, 4 saves, trying to pick up another clean sheet. The wave of the flag from the AR, much to the chagrin of Dartmouth's Tom Collins. And an opportunity for Brown to send the ball deep into Dartmouth territory.
Right, and every dead ball, the Bears will be able to bleed off another 10 to 12 seconds most likely before getting it restarted.
And Gustafson did send that upfield. It was headed out of bounds by Dartmouth. I'm sure what Ellis would have liked to have done, as it does give the Bears an opportunity to throw, and Gustafson will set up. Tosses it toward the corner for Adams, who works down toward the corner, and this is why they put Adams back in the game.
Yeah, some good footwork and able to work that corner game as the Bears trying to kill the clock. The late stages of this second half.
Gustafson has Dadsey, and again Adams into the corner, and it will be a goal kick. We're inside 5 minutes to play. Brown 1, Dartmouth 0. Kojo Dadsey from Lorenzo Amaral. Right now, the difference in this one, but Dartmouth is going to be sending the house for the next 4 odd minutes as they look for the equalizer to stay alive.
You gotta love the work rate by the Bears, though, up top. Pilar, he's been a force all game long.
Nice play by Griglis, touches back Mitchell. He'll send it downfield. Bears counter has been solid today. Here comes Kyle G with some extra speed and draws the ball off of G, actually does Magnon, and it will be a big green throw. They're going to take it quickly to Christodoulou. Good decision, and he will play it across center for Uno, who will go off to that right side. Ellis working right to left with Collins coming upfield with the header from Mitchell. Griglis fed, and Barry will send it downfield. Pilar making a run on Magnon. Ball one in the air. Can G get there? He does, but he's forced right out of bounds by Sam Fenton. And G trying to get out of there, and you can see Fenton not too happy. And they're going to give G a card.
No, that's because he grabbed the ball, though, Mike.
Yep.
Fans don't like it, but...
Yeah, it does stop the clock. Yeah, you can't touch the
basically
ball.
for time wasting.
Yep. Fenton quickly throws it in. Clordy, Mitchell, Fenton again. Ball's going to run all the way down to Hudson Blattis.
He's got to be careful because Blake has tremendous speed.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is anything silly. Blattis is going to push the Bears upfield.
He can get it about 2/3 of the way up the field on these punts.
He sure can the big fella. And then he does just that, sends it all the way up and over the head of Dadsey. Main, Dadsey, and Adams trying to send through to Pilar. Uno put under by Pilar. He'll have to go all the way back to Christodoulou. Here comes G hot-footing through. K plays it right in the middle of the field, and Griglis touches for Mitchell. He'll work left to right, comes to the flank in front of Dartmouth's bench, and leads it ahead for Kyle G heading toward the corner. G dances back, gets a touch to Mitchell. Well taken there by Magnon. And out to center. Here comes the counterattack for Dartmouth. Collins up the right side. Mirash had it run up on his leg. Gustafson jostles for position. That's a great battle over there, and Mirash comes away with the ball. He'll dance back towards center. He was a player that certainly Coach Weilman attuned us to, said he is very explosive, and we've seen that speed a couple of times. Dadsey comes away with the ball. Adams, the touch back, and Tanner Barry lifts it out towards midfield. Pilar cuts back, has Dadsey left, gives it to him on the wing. Bears attacking with some numbers. Here comes Dadsey with some pace. Keeps it himself, dances across. Can he turn? He gives it to Kyle G. He touches back, and Dadsey's going to just take it to the corner. Heady play by G and Dadsey as they play a little game of give and go. Into the corner, bleeding time, and a Brown throw. Great work by Kojo.
Yeah, really great work. That was a long run coming all the way across the field. And see how long not very long at all.
Not very long at all. The Bears are going to leave it for Griglis. And now Kyle G will take the throw.
I don't think they're going to send too many numbers up.
Pilar plays it out of bounds, goal kick, and Dartmouth with 1.5 minutes left. If the Bears win, they will leapfrog Cornell into 4th with a game against Yale, who's one of 3 teams tied for 1st. And that means, as Blattis falls on it, that the Bears next week will become Dartmouth fans.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Princeton fans, because a win next week for the Brown Bears, coupled with wins for Dartmouth, Princeton, and Columbia, means the Brown Bears are hosting the Ivy League Championship.
It's been a wild season.
It would be a wild season. Bears are under a minute away from capturing the victory here today, which would improve them to 5, 4, and 6 overall.
They got to get a second or two to get that clock going once again, but
into the corner. Dartmouth, we'll see what they can do coming out of that deep corner of death. It's going to be a Brown throw. And you can see frustration. Kojo Dazzy had the mark for Brown with a few minutes left here in the second half. Bears lift it toward the corner, gave it away, but Clority heads it back up. Dazzy trying to set underneath it, and another throw in for Andrew Ellis and Dartmouth. Under 10 seconds left. Arvahar to center. Miras knocks it downfield. One more chance here for the Big Green. The turn, the drive, and off the crossbar. As time expires, the Brown Bears will win 1-0. Dartmouth collapses in anguish, and the fans hold their collective breath.
Well, we said it was going to be a furious, frenetic finish. We certainly got that here tonight. Would have been interesting to know if this would have counted.
Trenton Blake, wow, what a shot.
Literally 2 inches lower, that's it.
I think it would have counted.
Walking by, just having a smile on his face, too. But the Bears pick up the all-important 3 points.
In a fiercely contested match from Providence, the Brown Bears pick up their second conference win and move into a position where they control their own destiny for the postseason. Here are your standings, folks. Brown into a tie with, into a 4th place all by themselves behind Penn, Yale, and Harvard, who are above them in the standings. With